Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to jump online here on Thursday, the 27th. It's a little after 9 in the morning, Eastern Standard, which is where I'm at in America. And this guy's out. So the hat trick is a little different than the stuff that I've been writing because it's still apocalyptic, but it is a solar flare apocalypse, which is kind of a big genre, hot kind of topic right now. Basically, what happens is the sun has a mass, coronal mass ejection, and the resulting radiation hits Earth and messes up the atmosphere and fries all the electronics, which, as you can imagine, sends everybody back to the Stone Age. And the Ravaged Skies world, logos right here, is a shared universe that a bunch of authors that I respect are kind of, all dabbling in. And we are using the exact same setting with the same incident on the same dates with the same times. So every book follows the same premise. So the same kind of situations happening to all the main characters. And as the series go on, characters will kind of weave in and out of different books. So you may see characters in The Hat Trick show up in some of the other authors' books. And if people really resonate with this and they want more, then I'll be writing more. But, we'll see how it's received. Today, the 27th, the print version is officially available. It's $12.95. Which is probably the cheapest main paperback I've ever put out. And the ebook is $3.99 right now. And it is live. You can buy it on the Kindle on Amazon. And it's cool. I don't want to get too much away. It's definitely a slower burn story than, like Adrian's or Diggory, where you're kind of like in the middle of it really quickly and like weird stuff is happening. This is not supernatural in any way. There are no monsters other than people being dinks. And it takes a long time relative to some of my other books to kind of get into it. So, this is kind of hyperbole, but I would say that it's kind of more like a Stephen King book where he takes like a huge chunk of time to set up the characters and the setting. And it's kind of leans toward that. But the characters are all typical Chris characters. There's lots of snark, lots of laughter, lots of jokes. And there's a curmudgeon-y old guy that if you're a fan of Gilbert, you'll probably really like Hugh. He's meant to be this fella right here. You can't see his face because he's obscured by the proof text. But there's a house on fire, so it goes well for some people and not so well for others. So we got it out today. It's the print's 300 pages? No, 240, 250, 240. And it's really good. It's really fun. And I hope you'll give it a shot. As I always do, I'm going to just kind of remind people how important it is to leave reviews, especially on a new release, as soon as possible. If you do, consume it in the next, few days, thank you. That's huge. Appreciate it. But please do try and leave a review. I've got some paid promotions coming up on the book to help get it in front of lots of new readers. And my sincere hope is that there will be a handful of reviews there. So when prospective buyers are looking at it, there's some kind of credibility beyond the fact that it's associated with 5 other books in the series that are out. The link right here, is the Amazon link for it. You can just kind of copy that in. I don't know if you can cut and paste it in the video, probably not. But that'll just bring you to I believe the Kindle or the paperback. And then you can just toggle over whichever you like. The inevitable question is audio. And speaking of which, Damon Thomas, hey, you just listening to the audiobooks. Great, Damon, I appreciate it. It's awesome. It's always cool to connect with new people. The audio for this is in the studio. Steve Van Samson, who did the Colony of Lies novella audiobook for me and killed it, who also lives kind of local to me. I was like, dude, you got to do this book for me. And he's recording it right now. Steve's a local dude. And Vibes, he's got a bunch of books that he's written out, and they're all really good. And he gets all the accents because this book takes place here in New Hampshire, rural New Hampshire, way up north near Canada. And he lives here. He knows the accents, and he's authentic. And it was just really good to have a guy in the backyard, basically writing a book that kind of takes place in the backyard. The other books in the Ravaged Skies universe take place all over. Some of them are in the UK. Some of them are, I think, in South Africa. Bailey Higgins's books, I think, are in South Africa. And we got some other, pretty great names, especially if you're into the Zompok stuff, which is, kind of my bread and butter. There's a bunch of us who, all kind of got together on this and, threw in. But yeah, that's where we're at. I don't know when Steve's going to finish recording it. He has a, full-time job that he, has got to do to pay the bills until his audio career takes off. So I can't say. The book doesn't have a bazillion chapters, and I think he's already, probably a half dozen in or so, which is great because he's only been recording for like a week. So I would guess optimistically, maybe a month would be the earliest that we could even possibly do it. And that's assuming he can keep up the pace that he's going at, which I can't control, and neither can he. But that's where we're at. The Ryan family in the book, really sweet. It's a husband and a wife and their son and daughter, Gabe and Iris. And they're kind of like the linchpin that the whole story kind of moves around. And you get to see how this small family kind of figures out how to exist with, no power, no lights, no technology, no car, in the middle of nowhere. Like they're in a really small town way up in the mountains, and how they have to kind of like lean on the neighbors. And, for the most part, I wanted to, avoid the, a lot of the tropes in the genre where it's like, the villainous preppers or the evil, druggies stealing stuff, whatever. Obviously there is some friction, some bad stuff happens. But I tried to do it in a way that was a little bit more organic, that felt like plausible and real. And in that case, the book can be kind of scary because, when your neighbors start to act weird and you can't call the police and, you don't know what's going on, that's, that can be a pretty scary situation, especially when you find out your neighbor might not be the guy that he says he is. So that's where we're at. I'm going to get back to it. If anyone wants to give the book a try, I extremely, extremely appreciate it. Book birthdays, new release days are always nerve-wracking, especially on a day where it's not a book in an existing series that I know has a fan base. So yeah, this is just, kind of where we're at, and I'm really hoping that people, it resonates with people. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, I'll be around, as I always am. I gotta go into my kids' school to run a D&D club this afternoon, which is always a fun time. So I won't be around during that time. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Appreciate your support as always. And this is cool.